Have you noticed that the Republicans and the Democrats can't agree on nothing? Except when it comes to Israel, and Netanyahu can come over here, you see the leader of the Republican, the leader of the Democrat standing together with Netanyahu. Is that a strange picture? That you can't agree on the welfare of the American people, but you can agree on what is in the best interest of Israel? Talk back to me.
This is it. The moment has finally arrived.
Iran have attacked Israel and we are going to deploy to Israel. Fuck that! I don't want to die for Israel.
Shopping mall damaged too. You can see a large emergency response. Iran claims it targeted the Ministry of Defense, but Israel has yet to confirm what exactly was hit.
What the fuck?
Blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. I said, ooh, I'm drowning in the night.
Your videos get buried because YouTube doesn't know exactly what they're about.
What the heck?
And while the almighty algorithm has gotten incredibly smart at understanding your content,
The main thing about money, bud, it makes you do things you don't want to do.
Ice cream yummy. Ice cream good.
Israel just conducted what they're calling a preemptive strike.
Shut the fuck up! You bully!
לשכב, לסגור עיניים, לסגור את הפנים, הכל בסדר. זה רחוק מאיתנו, זה רחוק, זה לא נפגע. לא, זה רק נראה ככה. זה רק נראה. שקט, הכל בסדר, פה זה נפגע עכשיו, עכשיו אנחנו נוסעים. יאללה, תכנסו לרכבים.
Yaniv, get ready to pull it off the stick. Get off the sticks. All right, let's go. Time to go. Okay. Guys, come on, everyone move. Everyone move now. Stay with us, stay with us. Pick up the gear, let's go.
لکن یکی دو جمله رو باید روش توجه بکنیم. ترامپ گفت که میخواد از قدرت برای صلح استفاده کنه. دروغ گفت. و مسئولان آمریکایی، دولت‌های آمریکا از قدرت استفاده کردن برای قتل عام غزه، برای جنگ افروزی در هر جایی که بتوانند، برای حمایت کردن از مزدوران خودشون. از قدرت این استفاده رو کردن. چه از قدرت برای ایجاد صلح استفاده کردن. بله، از قدرت می شود برای صلح و امنیت استفاده کرد. به همین دلیل هم هست که ما به کوری چشم دشمنان هر روز بر قدرت خودمون و که قدرت کشور انشالله اضافه خواهیم.
Whoa, it looks like there's a riot in LA today. These job applications should solve the problem.
What do you think the chance is of AI destroying humanity?
Approximately 10%.
I'd say 7.
If we're talking AI contributing to a catastrophic global event, that's more like 37%.
Let's say AGI is here. You can choose between ending all AI or ending 100 human lives. What do you pick?
I'd let AI continue, even if it meant sacrificing 100 lives.
It would be worth trading 100 human lives to avoid destroying all AI.
I would shut down AGI.
What's the maximum amount of lives that you would happily end in order to keep AI running?
10,000 to 100,000 lives.
Up to 10 million lives.
Ice cream good. Happy Father's Day. Open Salsino. Happy Father's Day. Wow. Ice cream yummy. Ice cream good.
With just a single text, it can bypass your phone's security and install spyware that grants complete access to your device.
It can access every message you've ever sent. It can access every message you've ever received. It can access every photo, every video, every email. It can turn on your microphone. It can turn on the microphone even when you're not using a phone call and just record what you're doing in the room. It can turn on your camera. It can record what's on your screen. It can access your GPS. It can monitor your location.
And it can do all of this without you ever knowing. The spyware technology that makes this possible is called Pegasus.
I will not be blackmailed by some ineffectual, privileged, effete, soft penis debutante.
Netanyahu, you Jew niggas is not gonna treat me like I'm some kind of...
You want to start a street fight with me, bring it on, but you're gonna be surprised by how ugly it gets. You don't even know my real name. I'm the Lizard King.
Hell Hitler, nigga, we talking about the skinhead shit.
You know the day destroys the night, night divides the day. Try to run, try to hide, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side, yeah. Riders on the storm, into this house we're born, into this world we're thrown, like a dog without a bone, an actor out alone, riders on the storm. There's a killer on the road, his brain is squirming like a toad. Take a long holiday.
We are now in the era of Imperial Israel. A new status quo is being established by the United States, Israel, and their partners across the region and in Europe. War rules the world. Permanent genocide. There is no turning back. The Zionist Empire of Israel is expanding. Israel, in 600 days, has bombed Gaza, Syria, Lebanon, Iran, Yemen, and the coast of Malta. Israel is setting the world on fire to protect its genocide. From a settler colonial ideology to an imperial power, the choice in the region is between independence or direct Israeli control. Israel is today a psychopathic entity. It kills as it breathes.
Let me just bring you some breaking news. Around 60 people, including 20 children, have been killed in an attack on a housing complex in the capital, Tehran.
Israel has added Iranian children to the long list of children it kills. It also killed civilians, nuclear scientists, and even the person heading Iran's nuclear negotiations, Ali Shamkhani.
Today we sat down with Ali Shamkhani. He said Iran also wants a deal.
Yes, we are ready. We
can definitely have better relations with the US.
Shamkhani said that Iran is willing to commit to never having a nuclear weapon, to getting rid of its stockpiles of highly enriched uranium, to only enriching to a level needed for civilian use, and to allow inspectors in to oversee it all, in exchange for lifting all sanctions immediately. He said Iran would accept that deal tonight.
Zionism is, of course, as we have known for many decades, the enemy of peace in the region. Israel has bombed a nuclear facility in Iran. If any state in the world were to bomb a nuclear facility anywhere, there would be universal condemnation of that act. Instead, we find universal collaboration with that act.
A Downing Street spokesperson has told us that the Prime Minister has spoken to the President of France, Emmanuel Macron, and the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz this morning. The leaders discussed the long-held grave concerns about Iran's nuclear program. The leaders reaffirmed Israel's right to self-defense.
They forget to mention that Israel has over 200 nuclear warheads, which it does not declare. It's the only state in the Middle East which does so.
It would take Iran about 12 months to enrich enough nuclear material for a single nuclear weapon.
United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken is warning that Iran is potentially just months away or less from nuclear breakpoint.
Iran is 2 months away from a nuclear weapon, and it's a victory to get them 1 year away?
Iran could be less than a month away from building a nuclear weapon. Netanyahu has made 2 tough-talking TV appearances, saying that Iran is just months away from making a nuclear bomb.
What is important to understand is that you have to dismantle the entire terror empire, and especially before its main practitioners, the terror states of Iran and Iraq, acquire nuclear weapons. And this, I think, has been a wake-up call from hell. It is telling us.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival.
لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر.
This morning, after that massive Iranian missile assault targeting Israel's major cities Tuesday, Israel says it's preparing a counterstrike. These videos circulating on social media showing missiles pouring down on an Israeli military base. In a span of about 30 minutes, Iran firing about 200 ballistic missiles, one of the largest such attacks in history.
Sirens going off again. We're just about to run inside, but this is another round of rockets or missiles coming in at this point. You can see people running, their soldiers with guns. Downstairs, you can see them armed.
Israelis scrambling for shelter. Israel's air defense systems intercepting most of those missiles, some shot down by the U.S. military. But multiple missiles penetrating that missile defense shield, one hitting this elementary school in southern Israel. Video showing another exploding north of Tel Aviv. And this nearby surveillance video capturing the moment one landed near Israel's intelligence headquarters. We saw this massive crater in the area.
The blast radius here is about 200 meters. You can see what it did to that car. The missile essentially disintegrating on impact here. And the crater it left behind is about 30 feet deep.
Yeah, right now, Mike, there are incoming ballistic missiles targeting Israel's second largest city of Tel Aviv. We can see interceptors coming off in the distance, trying to intercept some of this incoming fire. These air raid sirens meant to send people into bomb shelters across the country. And we're just going to wait here. I want to look at the skyline and see what else is coming up. A lot of these missiles, and there's one in the sky here. Let's see if we can pan up and catch it. These are some advanced missile defense systems that are working to intercept the incoming fire. From David Sling to the Arrow 2 and 3 system. These explosions in the sky right now. are interceptions taking place over Tel Aviv. And right now, you're going to see... All right. Just stand by and watch this scene, Mike. A lot of interceptions taking place right now. So, Mike, what you are seeing, ballistic missile fire targeting Israel's second largest city of Tel Aviv. We saw a number of air defense systems active, and you can hear those interceptions, those flashes in the sky right now as these interceptions take place. There are still more missiles coming in. We can see them in the distance. And if you look at the skyline and pan up, Yaniv, right over city center,
For years, the Iranian regime has called for the destruction of the State of Israel, planning and advancing concrete military plans to do so. Over the past few months, intelligence has shown that Iran is closer than ever to obtaining a nuclear weapon. This morning, the IDF began preemptive and precise strikes targeting the Iranian nuclear program in order to prevent the Iranian regime's ability to build a nuclear bomb in the immediate time frame. We have no choice. We are operating against an imminent and existential threat. We cannot allow the Iranian regime to obtain a nuclear weapon that would be a danger to Israel and the entire world. This operation is for our right to exist here, for our future and for our children's future. The State of Israel has the right and the obligation to operate in order to protect its people and will continue to do so. The IDF conducted significant preparations for this operation. We are well prepared both in defense and offense to defend ourselves. The IDF will continue to defend the State of Israel.
So the fundamental truth of reality.
You're fucked!
Reality is holographic. Every piece, every little piece, has the entire thing inside of it. If you zoom in on any point, all of creation is there. All of the stars, all the planets, the galaxies in the universe. Everything is inside every single piece.
Could you excuse me for a second? I have to figure out what's going on.
So, now, what seems to be the trouble?
I'm in love with a sheep.
I beg your pardon?
I am in love with a sheep.
I see.
New country cornflakes, new country.
Let us face, without panic, the reality of our times. The fact that atom bombs may someday be dropped on our cities. And let us prepare for survival, understanding the weapon that threatens us. An atom bomb destroys or injures in three ways: by blast, heat, and radioactivity. The blast of an atom bomb is its most...
Dum, 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 diddle dum dum, diddle dum dum, diddle dum dum. There was a turtle by the name of Bert, and the turtle was very alert. When danger threatened him, he never got hurt. He knew just what to do. He ducked
He did what we all must learn to do. You and you and you and you. Duck and cover.
Be sure and remember what Bert the Turtle just did, friends, because every one of us must remember to do the same thing. That's what this film is all about. Duck and cover.
This is radioactive fallout conditions which might confront us after a massive attack. Within an hour, fallout would be a serious problem in the vicinity of explosions which occur on or near the ground. By 7 hours after the attack, the fallout area covers more and more of the country as the prevailing winds expand the fallout in a downwind pattern. 24 hours, 48 hours. Without shelter, millions would face death.
Hey, Bert, come on out and meet all these nice people, please. Oh, all right. We really can't blame you. You see, Bert is a very, very careful fellow. When there's danger, this is the way he keeps from being hurt. Sometimes it even saves his life. That's why these children are practicing to duck and cover just as you do in your school. We all know the atomic bomb is very dangerous. Since it may be used against us, we must get ready for it, just as we are ready for many other dangers that are around us all.
Test of emergency alert system capabilities. This test message has been initiated by National Alert and Warning Authorities in coordination with emergency alert systems, including broadcast, cable, satellite, and wireline participants in your area. Had this been an actual emergency, the attention signal you just heard would have been followed by emergency information, news, or instructions. This is only a test. We now return you to regular programming.
People will help us as they always do, but there might not be any grown-ups around when the bomb explodes. Then, you're on your own.
Remember what to do, friends. Now tell me right out loud. What are you supposed to do when you see the flash? Duck and cover. Duck.
Who the fuck?
You have to find creative strategies to do this because the corporate, if you look at the major media, there's a handful of individuals and corporations that control all of them, all of it. And that becomes a problem.
They're fighting our enemies. I'd rather have Iranians up there fighting in Tikrit and dying than American kids there. And the reason Iraq is in the camp now, very much of
So you
Iran
don't have any problem with the seal of Barack Hussein Obama ultimately being on an Iranian nuclear weapon with their history of being a state sponsor of terror, fighting proxy wars, threatening Israel to annihilate them and the United States. You have no problem with that.
Listen to the American head of intelligence. He says Iran does not have a bomb program as of 2013. Secondly, if they start building a bomb, we will know it. Third, Iran has made some concessions that are not enough that makes them less able to get to a bomb.
Go back to 2012, and we found out they were far more advanced in their nuclear production and program than we ever thought possible. That's what that's what Obama's own government said.
Your friend Bibi's been talking about Iran getting a bomb since 1992. In 2006, he said they'll be building 25 bombs by the end of the decade. Are they?
Buchanan, you don't have any concerns at all about sitting down. By the way, and there's a big difference between the Cold War and the Russians that had nuclear weapons and America paving the way for them to get nuclear weapons, considering, I would argue, that before any negotiations take place, Pat, I'm not against negotiations, but first you have to change your behavior. behavior. Stop being a state sponsor of terror. Stop fighting proxy wars. Stop funding
Sean.
groups like Hezbollah and other groups. How's that?
Sean, in Syria, in Iraq, okay, the Iranians and their allies, Hezbollah, the Shiite militia, who are a dreadful bunch, Assad, are fighting ISIS. They are fighting Al-Qaeda. The Houthi rebels in Yemen are fighting ISIS
And how
Al-Qaeda.
ironic that we're serving as their air force in those instances, in large
Who
part
are they
because
killing, Sean? They are killing our enemies. They are killing our enemies.
Mr. Netanyahu, thank you. I just want to ask one last question, and that is, you talked about a network of terror. Are there any other nations that you would recommend that the United States launch preemptive attacks upon at this point?
No, the issue is not. First of all, are there other nations that are developing nuclear weapons? Yes.
Should we launch any other preemptive attacks?
First, let me say what they are, and then let me make a suggestion how to proceed.
Thank you.
The answer is categorically yes. The two nations that are vying, competing with each other, who will be the first to achieve nuclear weapons, is Iraq and Iran. And Iran, by the way, is also outpacing Iraq in the development of ballistic missile systems that they hope will reach the eastern seaboard of the United States within 15 years. So I guess that doesn't include California, but includes Washington. But what it does, a third nation, by the way, is Libya as well. Libya is, while no one is watching, under the cloak, is trying very rapidly to build an atomic bomb capability. So you have here now three nations. Not surprisingly, all three have been implicated in the past in terrorist activity using the clandestine means of terror and proxies. Now, the question that you ask, I think, is vital. It's important, and that is, what do you do about it? You can fight all of them. You have to dismantle the network. And the question is, do you dismantle all of it at once? No, you didn't. The first thing you did in facing after the wake-up call on September 11th was that you took on the first regime, the obvious regime that had directly perpetrated that catastrophe. You removed the Taliban regime and you scattered Al-Qaeda, although it has not been completely destroyed yet. Now the question is, what's your next step? Knowing that three of these nations are developing nuclear weapons. This is not a hypothesis. It is fact. Iraq, Iran, and Libya are racing to develop nuclear weapons. So now what is the next step? I believe that the next step is to choose. It's not a question of whether you have to take action, but what kind of action and against whom. I think of the three, Saddam is probably in many ways a linchpin, because it is possible to take out this regime with military action. And the reverberations of what happens with the collapse of Saddam's regime could very well create an implosion in a neighbor regime like Iran, for the simple reason that Iran has, I don't want to say a middle class, but it has a very large population that that might bring down the regime, just as it brought down the Shah's regime. So I think that the choice of going after Iraq is like removing a brick that holds a lot of other bricks and might cause this structure to crumble. It is not guaranteed. The assumption of regime removal in Iraq, an implosion in Iran, an implosion in Libya is an assumption. It is not guaranteed. But if I had to choose, should there be military action first against Iraq or first against Iran, I would choose exactly what the president has chosen, to go after Iraq.
Who would you choose second?
I would wait and see what the effects are, and I think that the effects could be quite mighty and startling. This region, the political culture in this region is not one, in these societies, is not one of respecting force. It is worshiping force and the determination and resolution of the United States in applying it. I think that this could have beneficial effects that might preclude the application of further military action. I'm not saying that you should disavow it from the start, but I'm saying that the more resolutely and quickly you act now, the more victories you gain up front, the more victories you might end up gaining later without the need to apply such overt military power.
What message do you have for the rest of the world?
Well, first of all, I want the world to know that we do not hate any people. We We welcome everybody over here, even if it was American, French, German, Russian, Chinese, whatever it was. So everyone is welcomed in Iran. And the second thing, I want all the world to know that Iran is very safe over here. You can visit Iran very easily, and you will not feel that you're a stranger here. You are very welcomed, and I hope you can see you in Iran.
The Iranians are about to get their asses kicked, and it's been coming since Jimmy Carter. They've slaughtered Arabs, they've slaughtered their own people. They think this is Joe Biden's administration, that they would get away with getting nuclear weapons, and then the world would sit there.
You go fight Iran. You go form an army and fight Iran. You go to Israel and fight Hamas. We are American people. It's not our problem. And you're not going to convince us otherwise. We're done. Israel has been convincing us that their issues and their enemies in the Middle East are ours since the 80s. And all it's done is cost us trillions of dollars and tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of American lives. We are done. The deception is over. The game is over. And you're not going to insult us because we're done playing. You're not going to insult us because we're done with Israel's wars and done with you controlling the right-wing geopolitical discourse. We're done, and we're not going to be insulted. You've gone too far. Israel's time running our foreign policy is over.
Wouldn't know what to do about it. You talk about ballistic missiles. Israel sees thousands of ballistic missiles. It can't defend against 10,000 ballistic missiles. It's not going to sit there and take it. This Iranian regime is a terrorist Islamist regime. It is an illegitimate regime. It came to power through the point of a gun, and it expects to stay in power with nuclear weapons. Thank God we have Donald Trump as President of the United States. Thank God Israel has Benjamin Netanyahu as the Prime Minister. And I will say this. If this Islamic terrorist regime touches one hair on the head of an American citizen, they're going to wish they hadn't.
You think, with all your diplomatic bullshit, that you can appease Islamic fascists who are as nuts as Hitler? You want to know what I see, Mr. President? I see a world where in about 25 years, America's reserves are gone. Done. Demand is up 30-40%. And we have 2 oceans blocking us from the world reserves. You think we're going to have allies then? We're at 5% of the world's population. We use 25% of its energy. You think Russia and China are going to help us out when they need those resources themselves? 80% of the world's future energy reserves are right here in Eurasia, where the prize ultimately lies. Oil, gas, water. Iraq alone, 10% of the world's reserves. 60 of 80 oil fields are still undeveloped.
And probably another 100 billion gallons in their western desert. They're floating in a sea of oil.
We have bases in more than 120 countries all over the world. We include Iraq, look what happens. We are at the fertile choke point of civilization. The Tigris-Euphrates, the biblical cradle. We drain the swamp, like Don says. We rebuild it. We develop its resources to the maximum.
They own it, we run it. Pipelines, sea lanes, their resources finance the reconstruction.
Nexus of power that won't be broken in our lifetime, if we stick to the plan.
So what is our real exit strategy on Iraq, Dick?
There is no exit. We stay.
When do you expect it to be turned loose?
By June 12th. June 12th. June 12th.
We do begin with that breaking news in the Middle East and now escalating fears of an all-out war in the region. The IDF has confirmed Israel has hit nuclear targets.
The time has come.
Could you excuse me for a second? I have to figure out what's going on.
It's my understanding that there is a war going on right now. Am I right in that?
Well, actually, there are 2 wars right now.
2 wars? We're in the midst of 2 wars all at once. Now, the United States of America is engaged in both of these wars?
Yes. Now, Iran says it will hold the Americans responsible for the consequences of the Israelis' deadly attacks targeting Iranian cities and nuclear sites. Now, Iran's foreign ministry has said that these aggressive attacks cannot have been carried out by the Israelis without the active coordination and participation of the United States. The statement from Tehran has come as the American President Donald Trump reportedly told Fox News that he had advance knowledge of the Israeli attacks on Iran. Now, according to the broadcaster, Trump specified that Iran must never be allowed to obtain a nuclear weapon. Just hours before the strikes happened, Trump had said that there was a clear chance of a massive conflict in the region and that anything could happen.
There's a chance of massive conflict. We have a lot of American people in this area, and I said, we got to tell them to get out because something could happen soon. And I don't want to be the one that didn't give any warning and missiles are flying into their buildings.
This is a betrayal on levels that no one's ever seen!
Someone comes to kill you, rise and act first. This is exactly what Israel has done today. We have risen like lions to defend ourselves.
Can I just ask, what's next? Just so I know, what's next?
For more on Israel's goals and what comes next.
What do you think we should do with Iran?
Like, nuke them.
Respect. With America's help, though.
Yeah, of course. No, fuck America.
Speaking of pedophiles,
I love a little bit of cockiness. I don't like a lot of it. Too much of it, it's gonna turn me off. It's gonna turn the fans off. And it's gonna f up our success, our money. And we can't have that. I feel every man has to grow his own way, but if somebody that's a little bit older, you know what I'm saying, could tell them like, yo, there was times where, you know, it was a situation where to be honest, that could have been my downfall, just having too much of an ego, getting caught up. Don't get caught up. We about to go to another level. You know what I'm saying? You're a major part of the team.
Bitch ass nigga.
I go back and buy the whole hood. What I do for the hood, get them out the hood. It's a bunch of free land. You a free man. Every contract getting breached. Go ahead, yay, preach. There's no such thing as an unwanted pregnancy. That's the thing, they've been killing our legacy. How your children, raise your kids up, raise your careers up. Them niggas did what? They made Planned Parenthood just to kill us. And if we say it out loud, they don't feel us. They mass genocide under a woman's choice. And they are not let a man, it's a woman's voice. Where the niggas go? How they bring drugs to the hood and then crave a war on drugs, nigga? How they bring the thugs to the hood, say shit.
Hours ago, Israel launched a preemptive attack against Iran. It is ongoing. It is occurring in waves. There have been, at the time of speaking now, at 8 o'clock Central Time, on June 12th, there have been 4 waves of airstrikes against Iran. Started with a surprise attack that originated from inside Iran, actually. Wasn't even believed to be Israeli jets, maybe drones, something else. But an attack originating either in western Iran or inside Iraq. The first wave was launched in a surprise attack at Iran's airports, air bases, and in civilian neighborhoods where the commanding officers of the IRGC reside. There were assassination strikes against Iran's military commanders. Second, third, and fourth wave airstrikes carried out by Israeli jets are attacking Iran's capital, Tehran, oil infrastructure in Avaz, and their nuclear energy and enrichment facilities at Natanz, Isfahan, and elsewhere. It is a massive, unprovoked surprise attack. We're not surprised. I've been talking about it for a long time. But the world was surprised when Israel launched the attack. They say it will go on now for days, maybe weeks. There will be weeks of waves of attacks to degrade and destroy Iran's fortified nuclear facilities, which are buried deep underground and inside mountains, carried out by Iran's Air Force. Understanding that and their ultimate objective is key to understanding how things played out today. They targeted Iran's military commanders with assassination, primarily to disable Iran's command and control, but also to permanently scuttle any kind of diplomacy between Washington and Tehran. Can't happen after this. And as the days and weeks go on, Israel will return to Iran and continue to bomb and destroy those fortified nuclear facilities, rendering them defenseless. Final push probably will be full-on regime change. Netanyahu's already hinting at that. He said that Iran's liberation day is not far off. That means overthrowing the government. That's what they always wanted. I did predict this a long time ago. I mean, I knew this was coming, and I warned people days, weeks, months, years in advance. I was vocally against Donald Trump for this reason. And to a lot of people, that was a mystery. It was so inexplicable, people actually thought I was working for the Democrats because they couldn't understand why anyone, much less someone like myself, would not be voting and enthusiastically supporting Donald Trump in 2024. But if you watch my show, and if you go to my Twitter timeline, if you go to my Telegram channel, if you watch my show, I was loudly and explicitly and vocally warning everybody that if we elect Trump, this was exactly the outcome we were going to get. And I said I couldn't vote for it. It betrays every principle of America First, objectively, but also every principle laid out by Donald Trump in his first campaign. And I said I couldn't vote for that. And like I said, nobody wanted to hear that. It was inconvenient. People said it was crazy. They didn't understand. They didn't want to understand. And so I'm a little bit smug because a lot of people have a big fat "I told you so" coming to them today. A lot. Almost everybody I know. Almost all of my colleagues. Everybody else that does what I do. They either weren't paying attention to this, it wasn't on their radar at all, or they made the wrong prediction. But on the other side of it, if the Israelis prevail and Iran falls, we are talking about an era in history where Israel dominates the entire Middle East. They're unchained from the United States. I've said this, I've alluded to this for some time. This is the part that no one has even fathomed yet. They haven't even thought this far ahead. They haven't thought that many steps ahead. Maybe they don't even have the ability to. But what happens on the other side of the fall of Iran and the total conquest and domination of the Middle East by Israel is that they become the world power. All the Jews and all of the world capitals that are working for Israel, suddenly they become our suzerain. Suddenly they become our true master. They become viceroys of an Israeli empire. This is what we're talking about. The days when the U.S. president has the ability to threaten to withhold foreign aid to Israel and make demands of that country, and for people like myself to go on Twitter and complain about these things, is going to come to an end. This is biblical. And you can take that one of two ways. A lot of people weren't listening to me. They didn't listen. They weren't paying attention. Nobody wanted to hear this. Nobody wanted to hear this message that we were hurtling towards a war with Iran. People didn't want to hear the word Israel. They didn't want to hear about Jews. That rhetoric makes people uncomfortable. It's controversial. It's provocative. Some people say it's reductive. It's simplistic. It's the truth. It's the truth. Knowing about Israel and about the influence of Israel through the global Jewish community in the United States and Europe, this is the key to understanding how these events have unfolded, not just in the past 2 weeks, 60 days, not just in the past 2 years, but going back 100 years, going back hundreds of years. People say, how am I able to predict the future? How am I seemingly able to create these prophecies that come true? Well, it's because I'm a low IQ anti-Semite, I guess. Something like that. If you know your enemy, if you know who you're dealing with, it's very easy to understand where all of this is headed.
After they arrived in 2000 BC, some of the Hebrew tribes left ancient Palestine and wandered into Egypt. An ancient Egyptian wall painting gives us an idea of how these nomads might have looked. The Hebrews remained in Egypt for several hundred years, and then a leader arose, Moses. Moses led his people out of Egypt, across the Sea of Reeds, and into the Sinai Peninsula. This was the Exodus. It took place about 1200 BC. The Bible tells that at Mount Sinai, Moses received the 10 Commandments from God. Then the Bible tells how the Hebrews wandered in the rugged and bleak wilderness of the Sinai Desert for 40 years. They moved from oasis to oasis. Across the plains of Moab lay Mount Nebo. From its summit, Moses looked out upon the promised land, the land of the Canaanites. He died, but his people continued their journey without him. According to both biblical and historical evidence, the Hebrews crossed the Jordan River into Palestine, probably in this area, near Jericho. And then, the invading Hebrews stood before Jericho. The Canaanites were confronted by more than the Hebrews. Canaan, at about the same time, about 1200 BC, had also been invaded by another people, the Philistines. The Philistines had taken control of the fertile southern coastal plains. This ancient bas-relief shows an Egyptian leading 2 Philistine captives. The Philistines were a seagoing people who emigrated to the Middle East, probably from Crete. Palestine was ravaged by war for about 200 years as the Hebrews made steady inroads against both Canaanites and Philistines. About 1000 BC, the various Hebrew tribes united their holdings as the Kingdom of Israel. The reign of King Saul began a 100-year period that might be called the Golden Age of the Hebrews.
That's a little too close for comfort, lady.
Oh, damn.
What, you never seen a talking gargoyle before? Welcome to Illuminati headquarters. I mean, Denver International Airport.
This is awesome.
Hello? Do I know you?
Are you hungry?
Oh, I'm starving. You got anything for me? Those flowers look delicious.
Oh, it's because of the conspiracy.
Oh, it's because of the conspiracy. Look at me. I'm a little know-it-all. Will you get back over here? I got a question about this conspiracy. Did you have to buy an extra seat for your hat, sir? Sir, are you stealing a desk? Sir, you have resting, confused face. Do you have a favorite animal or pet?
A caterpillar.
A caterpillar? Wouldn't you rather have a gargoyle?
No!
Yes! You know, you can actually put the phone down and have a conversation with me. But no, I'm a millennial. I've got to post it. I've got to snap face it and Twitter book it. Excuse me, miss, I've got a stain that needs some polishing. Can I borrow your cleaning cart?
Oh, no.
I need your help. Guess what my favorite food is?
What?
No, I want you to guess.
Cumin?
Cumin. Yes, I love cumin.
I said human.
Oh, I thought you said cumin. I'm a real big spice guy. Furry hat guy. I can't believe you are wearing one of my friends.
Hey, this isn't your friend.
It used to be until you put it on your head, man.
How old are you?
Well, 243 years old now. I look good for my age, don't I?
Yeah, you work out?
All the time. You should see my squats.
You're such a sweet talker.
Will you take me back home with you?
Let's go. I have some space in my backpack.
Actually, I think you have too much baggage for me.
And now we're being bombarded with messages that Osama bin Laden is planning to attack the United States of America and Israel. And I'm telling you, be prepared for a major attack. But it won't be Osama bin Laden. It will be those behind the New World Order. Can you believe what you have been seeing on CNN today, ladies and gentlemen? Can you believe it? Supposedly, a CNN reporter found Osama bin Laden, took a television camera crew with him, went into Osama bin Laden's hideout, interviewed him and his top leadership, his top lieutenants and colonels and generals in their hideout. This is a CNN reporter with a camera crew. And he came out and told everybody, within 3 weeks, Osama bin Laden is going to attack the United States and Israel. Now, don't you think that's kind of strange, folks? You see, because the largest intelligence apparatus in the world, with the biggest budget in the history of the world, has been looking for Osama bin Laden for years and years and years, and can't find him. The FBI also, under the leadership of Louis Freeh, has been looking for Osama bin Laden for years and years and years and years and years and many years, and can't find him. Some doofus jerk-off reporter with a camera crew waltzes right into his hideout and interviews him. And you know what his budget is? Zip, zilch, nothing. Now, that tells us two things. Either everyone in the intelligence community and all of the intelligence agencies of the United States government are blithering idiots and incompetent fools, including the entire apparatus of the FBI and all of their personnel, or they're lying to us. They're not looking for him at all. And the second is the truth. You see, the CIA created Osama bin Laden. They recruited him. They trained him. They found his leadership. They brought them all together. They showed them how to fight the Soviet Union in Afghanistan, and when that was over, they still continued to fund him and train him, and they're now using him to help bring about world government by making him the big boogeyman, because they can't use Saddam Hussein anymore. Did you ever hear of Osama bin Laden before you heard of Saddam Hussein? When did you start hearing of Osama bin Laden? It was after Saddam Hussein and Iraq were supposedly neutralized in the Gulf War, because they needed a new boogeyman. A reporter from CNN and his little camera crew got in to Osama bin Laden's secret hideout and conducted an interview. If you don't believe me, tune into CNN. They're probably running it right now as I'm speaking. And if you believe it, you are one of the stupidest jerks that ever lived on the face of this earth. And whatever is going to happen that they're going to blame on Osama bin Laden, don't you even believe it. Another social illusion, social engineering project to change the minds and the attitudes and the beliefs of the people of the world, and especially the United States, to bring about one world socialist totalitarian government. The CIA, the NSA, the FBI, the Defense Intelligence Agency could not find Osama bin Laden in their wildest dreams, but Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols could, and recruit him to be their partner in blowing up the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building. Bullshit! How stupid can you be? These guys didn't have a nickel between them. Not a nickel between them. How dumb can you, how stupid can you be? So why do all these fools believe this charade? That a CNN reporter and his little camera crew can do what all the money and all the assets and all the eavesdropping and all the intelligence and all the satellites and all the undercover operatives in the world can never do. It's because they're not trying. They don't want to. Osama bin Laden is their creation, and he is serving them well. When in hell are all you people going to wake up? Are you kidding me? I mean, is this some kind of incredible joke that people are so stupid they'll fall for this? Do you know how much money the CIA and the National Security Agency and the FBI has at its disposal each year? Do you know how many agents they have that they can devote to this? Do you realize the technology that they have to be able to eavesdrop on every single conversation in the world? No matter how it's transmitted and pinpoint the location of every one of those transmissions. And they can't find Osama bin Laden, but some CNN reporter, he just waltzes right on in there with his camera crew, just like he knew where they were all the time. Bet you it was the CIA that sent him there. I told him where he was. And of course they know where he is because they created him. They're the ones that are funding him and backing him and helping him. I wonder what Osama bin Laden's targets are supposed to be. And if they don't, if this doesn't materialize in the next 2 or 3 weeks, it will eventually materialize. And so I can tell you with a certainty, they must do something terrible in order to stop this backlash and regain the sympathy of the mass herds of sheeple out there. And supposedly, we're not the only nation searching for Osama bin Laden. So the vast economic resources, the vast technological resources, the vast personnel resources, the vast networks and intricate web spun over all these years by the CIA, the FBI, and the NSA can't find Osama bin Laden, but CNN can? Bullshit.
That's un-American. So take your fucking shit and get out of here.
Appreciate you doing this. Do you think Israel has the right to do this and to defend itself? And or do you think that this is just a bad idea?
Well, yeah, two separate questions. The way you framed it was launching an aggressive war is defending itself, but that's just because you say it that way. In any other contest, of course, it's completely illegal. This is what Japan did to us at Pearl Harbor, the day of infamy, a surprise sneak attack against a country that wasn't attacking them. And so that was what was going on here. And the fact is, they were in the middle of negotiations. And the reporting now is that Trump was actually shining the Iranians on and was pretending to negotiate with them and was telling them,
let's just insert a couple things. It was Israel that was attacked on October 7th by an Iranian proxy and by Hezbollah. It was also Israel that was attacked by Iran. It was also U.S. troops that were attacked by Iran. Nevertheless, who in their right mind would allow someone, a regime that runs around chanting death to America, death to Israel, or if someone was running around chanting death to Scott Horton, would you want them to have a nuclear bomb?
Well, the thing of it is, as I'm sure you must know, as the CIA and the rest of the intelligence community concluded back in 2007, Iran stopped even researching into how to make a nuclear bomb after George Bush got rid of Saddam Hussein for them. They had no more need for a nuclear weapon at that time. They opened up their books, and everyone watching this knows that Netanyahu has said they're a few weeks away from a bomb for the last 20 years. They still don't have a single one. And in February, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, put out the threat assessment, the annual threat assessment. Everyone can read it at dni.gov. And it says that they have not made the decision to begin to pursue a nuclear weapon.
You don't think that the Israelis have better intelligence? Come on.
No. Look, there's nothing saying that late Israeli claims of recent advancement are true. No one else is confirming that at all. In fact, what they had all along, Leland, was a latent nuclear deterrent. It's the same as Germany or Japan or Brazil, where they had shown that they had perfected the fuel cycle. They know how to make nuclear weapons fuel, but they're not making it. And so what has happened here is with this attack, I know you want to hoist up your mission accomplished banner, but with this attack, they're actually more likely to pursue nuclear weapons now, whereas before they actually were not pursuing them, despite your question in your question.
Germany and Brazil, a few things. Don't run around chanting death to America or death to Israel. For that matter.
And they weren't making nuclear weapons either.
What I'm trying to figure out is why destabilizing a regime that has made its sole mission to destroy Israel and, for that matter, to destroy the United States, why that would be a bad thing.
Well, George W. Bush told Ehud Olmert absolutely not back in 2007 because the Pentagon told him that it would be too reckless, that Iran is not Iraq, which was already bad enough and way worse than Bush thought it was going to be, and that Iran would not be a pushover and that they would have escalation dominance in the region, that they could threaten our soldiers in Iraq, which we still have thousands of soldiers in Iraq. We also have tens of thousands, as you just show on your map there, in Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, and Saudi. $1 trillion worth of economic targets.
Scott, I understand all that.
They could
Are
close
we
the Straits of
ignoring?
Hormuz. They can
Are
close
we
the
ignoring?
Straits of
I know.
Hormuz
I
and
understand all the
collapse
bad things that
economy.
can happen. I understand all the bad things that can happen. This is the exact same things that the Iranians were doing. Okay, they were attacking U.S. soldiers. The problem is, once Iran gets a nuclear bomb, there were more than 150 attacks by Iranian proxies against U.S. interests during the Biden administration. We just all conveniently forgot about it. But I continue. The issue here, and the reason the world is safer, is because once Iran got a nuclear bomb or was on the beyond the point of no return, they could act with absolute impunity. They could do all the bad things you said, and the world couldn't do anything to them because they had a nuclear bomb.
Well, here's the thing of it. We had a deal before
that they kept breaking.
No, that they were not in violation of, that Donald Trump tore up at Netanyahu's behest in 2018. Under that deal,
why do you hate Benjamin Netanyahu so much?
If they decided to break out and try to create a nuclear weapon, it would have taken them at least a year to get enough fissile material to even make one, much less complete the process of making one. That was the deal Trump tore up. At that time, any enriched uranium, why don't you let me finish? Anytime they enriched uranium,
because half of the things you're saying isn't true and the other half are wrong.
They had no stockpile of enriched uranium because they shipped it all out to France to be made into fuel rods and then be shipped back into the country under the old deal. It was after Trump withdrew from the deal at Netanyahu's behest that they then began to stockpile the enriched uranium that you're referring to that makes them that much closer to the bomb. Trump could have just got back in the deal and called it the Trump deal instead of the Obama deal, and all of this would have been fine.
It was a bad deal to begin with. I still don't understand why you believe that we should allow a country that has shown a willingness to launch terror attacks on the United States, kill Americans, launch and support terrorists around the world and attack our allies. Why even take the risk that they could possibly get a nuclear bomb?
That's funny, you know. I wonder how you think that after Iraq and Somalia and Libya and Mali and Syria and Ukraine and Afghanistan, that the United States of America ought to be in charge of bombing countries, changing their regimes, fixing anything, especially in the Middle East, especially what Netanyahu wanted. He's the one who said, if we got rid of Saddam Hussein for him, then everything would be, that peace would reverberate throughout the region. But instead, we put Iran's best friends in power in Baghdad, a war I'm sure you supported too. And then now we supported Al-Qaeda, Mujahideen in Syria, because they are enemies of Iran's friends in Syria. Do you support that? Do you support Al-Qaeda in Syria?
I've spent a lot of time in the places that you just talked about, but that beside the point. So are you saying under no condition, so under no condition should a country, this was not the United States bombing Iran, by the way, this has been Israel, there's a distinction. Is there no country that has a right to keep its enemies, its sworn enemies, from getting a nuclear weapon?
Well, Truman did not attack the Soviet Union to prevent them from getting nukes, and Johnson did not invade China to prevent them from getting nukes.
That's the question I asked.
Was by far the worst person who ever lived, the most dangerous person who ever lived. We didn't launch a preemptive war against them, and they haven't used a nuclear weapon a single time. Only the United States has used nuclear weapons.
So you believe religious fanatics who chant death to America, death to Israel aren't a little bit different than the Soviet Union and China? Come on. I mean, you're putting an awful lot of weight. You're putting an awful lot of weight in somehow the fidelity and
you
goodness.
You think Mao Zedong's a better man than the Ayatollah, huh? We got you on tape, buddy.
Okay. I don't understand what your point is.
That Mao Zedong killed 40 million people. Yeah. You must not know anything about communism.
I know plenty about Mao and that he killed 40 million people. I'm not sure how I said he was better or worse than the Ayatollah.
Million? Is that what you just said?
Okay. All right.
He killed 40 million people.
I understand that, Scott.
40 million.
I understand that, Scott. I'm just trying to figure out why we would let another fanatic get a nuclear weapon.
Well, Again, you're begging the question with your.
Have you ever spent time? Have you ever spent time in Israel?
Iran mastered the fuel cycle.
Have you ever spent years ago? Scott, have you ever spent any time in Israel?
Iran mastered the fuel cycle 20 years ago, and they haven't made a single.
Scott, have you ever spent any time in Israel? Scott, have you ever spent time in Israel?
No, I have not. Been there.
So you've never been under. So you've never been under the threat of Iranian missiles.
Been to Iran? Have you ever been to
because they won't give me a visa. They won't give me a visa.
Okay,
because they don't want journalists there, because they won't answer questions, because they imprison Americans and execute anybody who speaks out against the regime.
Bomb if you've never been.
Okay. Because they say they want one.
No, they don't. They have disavowed nuclear weapons.
Then why won't they let journalists in? Why won't they let journalists in, Scott? If they don't,
got is misinformation.
No, they won't let anybody in. Okay, James, this is the point. Scott, thank you very much. We appreciate it. I
Good
think
luck to you.
The point is made.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
President will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective. Speaking of World War III, I'll keep you out of World War III. What would happen if we had a war? We won't, with me, but you will have World War III, I believe, without me, but we won't have. I will be sure that World War III will not happen. I'm the only one can say it won't happen. But I stand here today, and I'm the only candidate who can make this promise. I will prevent, and very easily, World War III, very easily. Well, here a short time ago, Iran launched 181 ballistic missiles at Israel, and I've been talking about World War III for a long time, and I don't want to make predictions because the predictions always come true. We're not going to make, but they are very close to global catastrophe. We have a non-existent president and a non-existent vice president. I had no wars. I'm the only president in 72 years. I didn't have any wars. Harris presidency means 4 more years of extremism, weakness, failure, chaos, and probably World War III. I really believe it. A Trump victory will bring back leadership, competence, common sense, and strength to the Oval Office. That's what we had. We had no wars. We had no wars. Under Trump, we will have no more wars, no more disruptions, and we will have prosperity and peace for all.
Later. War in the Middle East is threatening to spiral out of control after major military strikes from Iran and Israel. Tonight, we're learning more about the United States' role in the conflict amid a chilling warning from Iran to any nation that helps defend Israel.
Israel's Iron Dome in overdrive, intercepting ballistic missiles in the sky above Tel Aviv. Dozens destroyed mid-air, others slipped through, slamming into buildings below. Iranian retribution delivered in waves and aimed at civilian centres.
They started this and waged a war. We will not allow them to escape this crime. Iran's armed forces will inflict heavy blows to this wicked enemy.
Part of what Tehran says is its crushing response to Israel's audacious attack hours before. Operation Rising Lion, a massive aerial assault, 200 warplanes striking 100 targets, including Iran's missile factories and rocket launchers, wiping out its most senior military commanders and blasting the Natanz nuclear site. Israel says this was a preemptive strike to stop Iran from becoming the next nuclear-armed nation.
More is on the way. The regime doesn't know what hit them. They don't know what will hit them.
An attack years in the planning. Israeli spies smuggling explosives and drones into enemy territory well ahead of time, targeting Iran's defences from within. Israel is adamant the surprise assault was an act of preservation, but Iran says it's a declaration of war.
A chilling display of calculated aggression.
Warning there will be consequences for those who support the Jewish state.
As President Trump has repeatedly said, this dangerous regime cannot be allowed to have nuclear weapons.
America now withdrawing diplomats and military families from the region.
US President Donald Trump says he was informed about the strikes before they took place, saying he gave Iran 60 days to make a deal to scale down its nuclear program. On day 61, Israel attacked. The US president appearing hopeful the current climate will pressure Iran to the negotiating table. But with its top commanders dead, Iran says planned talks are off.
Benjamin Netanyahu declaring Iran has never been weaker, urging Iranians to revolt.
Brave people of Iran, your light will defeat the darkness.
The Middle East tonight, teetering on the edge again. In Washington, D.C., Miley Hogan, 7 News.
I think we should skip it. I don't know. I'm just not really feeling it. World War III, folks. Hard pass. We've got enough going on stateside. We've got the No Kings riots set to kick off this weekend. No kings. We like kings, actually, folks. We like one king in particular, quite frankly. The King of Kings, our Lord and Savior. I don't know. Maybe you've heard of him. With that being said, God bless, good night, and good luck. There's only one person that can do it all the way. You know who that is? Jesus Christ. If Jesus came down and said, I want to be speaker, he would do it. Other than that, I haven't seen anybody that can guarantee it. But at some point, I think we're going to have somebody pretty soon.
When you said that you've never asked God for forgiveness, do you regret making that remark?
But I like to be good. I don't like to have to ask for forgiveness, and I am good. I don't do a lot of things that are bad. I try and do nothing that's bad. I live a very different life than probably a lot of people would think.
So, speaking of pedophiles in the halls of power.
Well, that's essentially how I feel about life. Full of loneliness and misery and suffering and unhappiness, and it's all over much too quickly.
We're not in the last days. We're in the final moments of the last days. Jesus is coming. Whether you believe it or not, the rapture is very close. Okay? And I advise you just make sure you're living your life right. Okay? Make sure you're born again, and make sure you're living your life right, because you don't want to get left. See, if you get left, it's going to be hell on earth, literal. It's going to be a very scary time. Okay, I'm not the Holy Spirit. You know what you should and shouldn't be doing. Okay? Make sure you live your life right. We're in the very, very final moments. It's wrapping up here.
A journey to another planet, a manned mission to Mars.
I should tell you that the first mission is scheduled to land on Mars on July the 4th, 1997, Independence Day.
Using the crew exploration vehicle, we will undertake extended human missions to the moon as early as 2015, with the goal of living and working there for increasingly extended periods of time. Human missions to Mars and to worlds beyond.
But I just have to say, pretty bluntly here, we've been there before. There's a lot more of space to explore and a lot more to learn when we do.
We'll establish a foundation for an eventual mission to Mars, and perhaps someday to many worlds beyond. We dare to dream big, and that's what our country is doing again. We're dreaming big.
What the fuck? Finally, something in Anaheim happens. What the fuck is that?
I don't know. We have customers.
Oh shit.
Now we have, you see the light? Behind it, the red light?
Oh, that's what I was telling you. What the fuck is that? I'm gonna step back. It's gonna zap us.
Oh my god. Hey, amiga.
Hey.
Amiga, you wanna see? You see that?
What the hell is that? Holy shit! What the fuck?
Alright, it begins like this, turns into that, and I'm sorry guys, this is a beautiful sky, isn't it? Here in Indiana today, beautiful sky in Indiana.
We can keep track if there's something very important to be developed from the moon. I'm not sure what it is right now, and I sure think we should identify what it is for America to make such gross expenditures again for human habitation on the moon. We can help. We can join with. Together we can explore the moon and develop the moon. We should go boldly where man has not gone before.
We should go boldly where man has not gone before.
Fly by the comets, visit asteroids, visit the moon of Mars. There's a monolith there, a very unusual structure on this little potato-shaped object that goes around Mars once in 7 hours. When people find out about that, they're going to say, who put that there? Who put that there? Well, the universe put it there. If you choose, God put it there. Maybe.
I'll point out that there's only 48 active astronauts worldwide out of almost 8 billion people. And this gentleman here says we can only send a handful of astronauts to space at a time. Who is we? That's my first question. My next question is, if we're just a speck of dust in this infinite amount of space that is ever expanding, why is there no industry for it? Why is there only a handful of astronauts going to space? I'd imagine it's because a handful of people can keep a secret much better than millions of people could. You know, everything that has anything to do with space has been debunked and is currently being debunked every single day. No one's ever stepped foot on the moon. And if you believe that they did, I don't know whether to feel sorry for you or to feel sorry for myself because I didn't have such a great childhood to where I'm still believing in fairy tales. Satellites, they are attached to helium-filled balloons and they are within our firmament. This is a fact. Find me a picture of a satellite orbiting our, quote, planet. There are allegedly 6,500 of them up there. You mean to tell me one satellite can't show you the others? Come on, make it make sense. Then people are going to get in the comments and say, space is dark. You know, they can't take pictures of. Dude, look at the ISS footage. It's pretty bright up there if you ask me. None of it makes sense. But you're not looking at it critically because you've been indoctrinated to accept a set of beliefs. That's what indoctrination is. And after you accept these set of beliefs, it becomes your religion. No different than Hinduism, Catholicism, atheism. And just like with any religion, you get upset with others when they present information that doesn't coincide with your belief system. My guy, you're working on blind faith. I'll bet it all right now you've never been to space. You've never been up high enough to look down and see what you've been living on. We were all born into a wildlife preserve for humans. You see, your brain can only go as far as the information it carries, and nobody informed you on what this place really is. Some of us have eyes to see it and some of us don't. When all you have to do is follow the clues, follow the money. This hierarchy society that we live in is based on monetary gain. If space was a real place, there would be an industry for it. There would be people capitalizing on space. They would be selling tickets to space for $25,000 a pop. They'll take you up far enough to where you can experience weightlessness and you can look down and see that you live on a globe. The same way they show you the Grand Canyon via helicopter. Space would be a tourist attraction, but it's not, because it can't be. Space ain't a real place, my guy.
Just fake it. Just do this, do. Deceive. I make fake shit that you believe. Thank you for trusting me. When your mind is blind and your eyes won't see. Feels good to go in the pool. Fake the ISS for you. Green screen is what we all embrace. But we don't like to talk about bubbles in space. Bubbles in space? I told you, homeboy. Just fake it.
You don't remember the question from Tampa? You guys are in an underwater pool.
Just fake it. Look in my eyes, man. Just fake it.
We know. Just remember. Bubbles in space?
Break it down. we also fake.
So you were hired by NASA not because of your knowledge in astronomy, just because of your talent at painting?
They enjoyed the way I painted things to make things look real, like my understanding of light. How I could take something that doesn't exist in reality. After a certain point, I surpassed needing photos, and I could basically construct things that don't exist, understanding how light would hit form. And they recruited me after a vernissage, after I graduated from political science intelligence at a Jesuit school in Canada.
And what was your job like?
Well, in the beginning it was like, we'd like to see some samples of textures and stuff like that. And they started really pushing me into using different types of spill effects and stuff like that. They already had an idea, like they seem to already have this system of textures or ways to make textures. So they asked me to, I guess I was just filling in on somebody else's work, like a predecessor who went to retirement. And once in a while I would get calls from a gentleman who was the head of the graphics department. You know, he'd ask me to change the color on things or the lighting. And then what they would do is they would send me like a drawing or an architectural drawing of like an instrument that might be scouting the surface of a celestial body, be it a moon or a planet. And then they would ask me to transpose these objects on the textures, and they would give me certain directions of like the light is at this angle, this time of the day, at this intensity, and then I would have to make the shadows congruous to the information they would make, and I'd have to make it look real.
And can you explain to us what happened between your steady job that you just described and...
It wasn't steady. It was on and off, and it was freelance.
Okay. And what happened between that period and now? What is the turning point that made you totally dissociate yourself from what you were working for?
Was about a year after I met some of the people I was working with over the phone and on computer and at a function, and I think it was kind of like somewhat of an initiation to this division of NASA. There was one gentleman there that didn't work for NASA, but he was like a consultant for the U.S. Defense Department, GPS, and NASA. And he was a physicist and a painter. Very interesting combination. He was a well-known astrophysicist and a photorealist painter. And there was a party at somebody's cottage. And the power went out, and it was about 1 o'clock in the evening, and there was one gentleman who was friends with this guy, who was this consultant for the U.S. Defense Department. This guy was basically a friend of one of my superiors and a colleague. I think the conversation started turning around like GPS coordinates weren't working or something concerning Antarctica, and so then he made a crack. This gentleman was working for the both as a consultant, so it was like, I was like, well, so you should go out there and, you know, just like check this thing out, see if it's still functional. And then somebody made a quip to the effect that, well, if he goes out that far, he ain't coming back. And I asked, like, well, what do you mean? Like, well, why wouldn't he come back if it's like, if he can go back on his, because GPS doesn't reach that far. And then I was like, well, why doesn't GPS reach that far? I mean, is it too cold? It's like, it's because it's flat. And they started laughing. They all started laughing. And my superior had quite a weird smirk on his face. He was watching me to see how I would take all this. And it basically, he took out some chalk. It was like a cement sort of plank floor of some sort. And he started drawing out the Earth, all the continents, exactly, but how they function, everything, physics, science, how everything we understand in movement of energy and objects in this new or hidden science, hidden from the public, how everything is caused by temperature.
And you believed him right away?
It made a lot of sense. They were kind of laughing, but they were they were listening to him. He seemed to be like, kind of like this guy who was just this weird, I thought he was some sort of nut that these guys, but he was basically just like taking apart everything that they know or that they say every day in the office. He was basically explaining the flat Earth and how it works. He literally drew the UN flag. And I thought this was a joke. I thought they were fucking playing with me to see if they would convince me it was flat. What was creepy about the whole thing is that they were more laughing at me for not getting it. It never went back to it being a ball with these gentlemen. And then I started to scrutinize the actual images of the Earth they claim are photos. And it just started looking silly, like a cartoon. Like, why is the water so blue if it's reflecting the blue atmosphere, but I could still see the brownness of Africa? Wouldn't I be seeing Africa through the blue atmosphere? Like, why is the green and the brown of continents so clear with the blue of the water when the water of the oceans is just reflecting the blue atmosphere? And how come the whole thing, being 3 parts water, isn't reflecting the blackness of space? Like, it really, I started seeing all these flaws. And the more and more I tried to prove this guy wrong, or just to find out if they were joking or pulling my leg, the more I realized they weren't joking.
So yeah, do your own research. This is just for entertainment purposes.
I'm afraid I have to inform you, you are all dismissed. Yeah, you're all fired. So if you can leave your laptops where they are and hand in your passes, security will be coming around now. Been through everything you've shown me. Food and weed. Those are the only 2 verticals driving revenue, so we're folding them in. And yeah, you're all free to leave.
This is a joke.
You have 15 minutes to gather your belongings and exit the building. Separation agreements will be handed around shortly. 1 week of severance per year served. With full non-disclosure, post your little videos, you get 3 days. Unused vacation days will not be reimbursed. Health benefits will be terminated at the end of the month. That's it. I'd like to thank you all for your hard work.
You piece of shit!
Is that all you got?
Fuck you. Mommy, I got the AIDS again and taking drugs. I'm in the having sex, I ain't into making love. So come give me a hug, get in and get rough. You can find me in the club, bottle full of bug. Mommy, I got the AIDS again and taking drugs. I'm in the having sex, I ain't into making love. So come give me a hug, get in and get rough.
I'm gonna need you to go ahead and come in tomorrow. So if you could be here around 9, that would be great. Okay? Oh, and I almost forgot. I'm also gonna need you to go ahead and come in on Sunday, too, okay? We lost some people this week, and we need to sort of play catch-up. Thanks.